Mzwakhe Mbuli. A sad day in South African music, a sad day in South Africa. Good afternoon, welcome to PM News. Thandi Klaasen, a career that spanned over 50 decades, 50 years. What does this mean, this loss mean to the South African music and the South African community as a whole?
You normally say a library has been burnt, the big tree has fallen. A legend, a veteran, no doubt a stalwart. The country, it's not a set start to start a new season when you lose a person who has actually passed on with so much experience. I'm sure when people talk of Thandi Klaasen, people think of Miriam Makeba,
Dorothy
Masuka, you know, your Abigail Gupek and them. Yeah, I got a call this morning from Amara Law saying, here are the sad news. And I then called the daughter, she mostly based abroad, Lorraine Klaasen, who she confirmed that her mom died peacefully. She has always been there for her, she looked after her. I'm sure you recall, we were here together last year when SABC celebrated 100 years of Sophia Town. And by that time, people were not aware that she was wheelchair bound. And the vibrant Thandi, I think everybody knows that it's Otsital, you know, Sophia Town, her style, her touch, her midas, you know. So a singer of note, a gifted, you know, person that no one can, you know, ignore. And at the same time, I think you can't write the history of this country without mentioning your Dorothy Masuka, Miriam Makeba, your Jonas Kwanga, all of them. So yes, the family will speak, the family will address the nation, but it is, as I said, a bad start to start a season when people are saying compliments, Happy New Year. It's a contrast. It's ironic when you say Happy New Year when you have lost one of your own.
Now, as a little girl, my earliest memory of Thandi Klaasen, I saw her on Felicia Mabuza. And I remember just the vibrancy that you're talking about, the confidence, just how vivacious and alive she was. What is your earliest memory of Thandi Klaasen?
I've already listened to people saying she would remind you of golfers because she was always in her pants, you know, yes. The two-tone kinds of shoes, the Sophia Town kind of regalia, and her wearing her tops, you know, that the tops is not something that to other people, when it was not fashionable. She maintained that style. When you talk of somebody who has a personality, kind of an attire, you know, Makeba was always in a short hair, you know, Thandi had her own style, her jerseys, the cardigan, you know the names.
Yes.
So she was not conformed to fashion or changing with fashion, but this is the person who inspired a lot of people. She was smartly dressed, neatly dressed. She would sing spontaneous. I remember even last year here, she just, you know, on a wheelchair, she started singing a song. You know, that is your Thandi Klaasen that will sing a song into, you know, your Miriam Makeba popular songs. So look, as I said, if a person has reigned for almost 50 years, these 5 decades, you can't forget. Everybody has got his or her own memory about the legendary Thandi Klaasen. So she was very bold at the same time. This is the person who became an object and a victim of jealousy. Because remember when Ipintum was supposed to go abroad, somebody out of sheer jealousy had to throw whether it's oil on her face because she was beautiful. I mean, you look at Thandi, she would always say, refer to Lorraine and say, look at how beautiful my daughter is. And she was like daughter, like mother. And she was indeed extremely beautiful. And I'm glad that did not deter her because her career, she continued to sing until, like I said, until she was confined in the wheelchair and she sang for you here. I'm sure the SABC will have that clip when she was here and singing regardless of the fact that she was wheelchair bound.
You speak of her boldness, and I can't help but agree. I mean, when you look at the type of music she made, she was very socially, politically, economically aware of where the country was. And she included that in her music. She was more of an activist as well.
Absolutely.
What impact do you think her music had in the South African political landscape, more specifically?
For the fact that we rate her with the Miriam Makebas of this world. It was Makeba who said, don't divide us, unify us. You know, Samora Machel, you know, Fairvoet, don't touch us and stuff. So you talk of people who were resilient. You know, people whose lyrics were relevant. I think if I'm saying she was no pushover, you know, we're talking about somebody who was gifted, brave, you know, beautiful and with brains at the same time. So these are the people who were not afraid of Fairvoet, Foster or the previous regime. These are the people who spoke their mind. So these are the people who didn't need to be mobilized for them to know what was wrong and what was right. And these are the people who spoke out about social ills. I mean, if you talk of people who come from, you know, Sophia Town era, I think she can't be regarded or ranked or be written amongst the cowards. But we are talking about somebody, if you think of who, people could think of Maya Angelou, you know, Makeba, people who were brave, who speak their mind. So Thandi was a brilliant singer, a gifted singer, a person of note with a brilliant, you know, immutable, you know, irreplaceable. She will be irreplaceable. There will be somebody else, something else, but not a Thandi Klaasen. She was unique. Her DNA fingerprints, who she was, as I'm saying, she was bold. I think she should not mind about gender. She should not be intimidated by macho men. So Thandi was very brave. She will speak her mind. She was not intimidated by the vision of the crowds. So what we have seen is that even the things that we fought for, she was instrumental. This is the person, I'm sure some of us were brave because we found ourselves in the midst of such brave women.
She was also dubbed as one of the late Tata Nelson Mandela's favorite singers. Yeah. In your mind, as a fellow musician and as a follower of her work, what is it that earned her that title?
Madiba had a razor-sharp memory. You know, people had said when Mandela met them, he was able to call them by name, Lucas Khadebe, this and that. You know, that was Madiba. So Madiba was able to tell you that here's Thandi. Madiba would say things that would make people like Thandi be blown and be surprised. How come Madiba knows so much about her and them? And yet it means Madiba focused and concentrated. You should be only a genius to do that, to remember so many individuals, prominent people in the country, but Thandi Klaasen could not miss out. She's one of the person that whom Madiba loved.
All right. That is the people's poet, Mr. Mzwakhe Mbuli, just taking us down memory lane, talking and celebrating really the life of the legendary jazz artist, Thandi Klaasen, who we confirmed passed on this morning.